Okay, so I just took a nap between my 6 a.m. and my 10:30 appointment, and I had the weirdest fucking dream. Excuse my French. Sorry about the hair. Just took a shower, but I don't want to forget this one because it was weird. Okay, so it starts out, I'm training at Crunch, but it's like this weird location that I've never been to before. And only the weirdest people train there, and they have like the weirdest freaking equipment, like leather equipment, and that has like wooden handles on it. I don't know. I couldn't even like guess what you would do on some of this stuff. Anyways, the only people that worked out there were like people with like Tourette syndrome, or there's this one guy who kept walking around saying like, Jesus, Jesus, and was wearing a Jesus t-shirt. I don't know, freaking weird. Anyway, so I was training someone there, and this blonde little trainer walks up and she's like, oh, put a meeting in your schedule for 2 p.m. I was like, okay. Tiny little blonde girl. I don't know who she is. I was like, okay. So it's 2 p.m. and I go and meet with her. So I'm sitting at this table that's randomly like in the middle of this workout space at Crunch, and she comes with this to sit down, and has like this plastic shield, like, you know, those for cops when they're trying to like control crowds, but it was just clear. It was all clear, and she came and she was holding it in front of herself, and I was like, what the heck? And so I tapped it, and then it went away. She sat down, and she's like, okay, time to get your body fat and weight. And I was like, what? I was like, what kind of meeting is this? She's like, oh, yep, this is the time. I was like, no, this isn't a meeting. And so somehow we ended up sitting on 2 chairs right next to each other. And I was like laying down on it. So like my head was resting on her lap. Weird. And then all of a sudden there were like these other chairs that ended up across from us, and all these like nerdy white guys were sitting there like giggling and looking back and forth, and like people kept walking past us and like kind of laughing and implying that this girl that I'm sitting next to is crazy. I don't know. And so we were just sitting there facing, now I'm sitting upright in this chair facing these nerdy white guys, and all of a sudden my pants and my underwear are all the way off, and so is my shirt. And she's like, I turn around to this girl and she's like, haha, gotcha, like it was a prank. I was like, what the heck? How'd you do that? I didn't even notice. And my pants and my underwear are just sitting right next to me. And then I'm having to cover up my boobs and crossing my legs, and I'm trying to put my pants on, and the nerdy white guys that are sitting across the way are going like this. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And so somehow I end up leaving Crunch, and the day goes in reverse. So I get back to my place, but my place is like in this weird stucco downtown area. I don't know. And I have an appointment at 10:30, which is weird because it was already 2 p.m. Anyways, and so for some reason Blakely and Chelsea from On Deck came over, and they're like, let's go get happy hour. And I was like, okay. And for some reason I was so high. Even though I didn't smoke anything, I was high, and they insisted that I drive because they didn't know I was high. So I'm driving, and then they can't pick a spot as usual. So I was like just driving around. They were telling me all these different directions, and I finally pull over, and I was like, I can't drive anymore. I'm too high. I'm way too high for this. And they're like, oh, ha, ha. And then Chelsea starts to drive. And so they drop me back off at home, and somehow I end up taking a nap for some reason. So they come back over, and it hadn't been too long. For some reason, I had taken Shauna's car somewhere, I don't know where, and then I had parked it somewhere, but I didn't know where I parked it. And so they come in my room, and I'm waking up from this nap, and they're like, Blakely's like, you have to train in 5 minutes. It's almost 10:30. And I was like, oh shit. And then I wake up, and that was it.